Hey all, Heretic here. Today in the Battlegrounds, we're talking about patch 33.6.2 that drops today. And this is, yes, you've got another ridiculously big patch with so much information, it might make my head explode by the time I'm done editing this. Let's jump into all of it and find out. First, we're going to be starting with a Battlegrounds update. Go figure, this entire patch is basically Battlegrounds, but this is a dev comment. Well met! We're overall quite pleased with the initial reception to the mid-season shakeup. The patch's Minion adjustment primarily focused on nerfing Quillbore while buffing Beasts, Undead, and Elementals. We've also made several changes to various buddies and heroes based on early performance data to bring them more in line with each other. This patch also brings anomalies back to the game. There are 6 brand new anomalies that interact with the buddy system in different ways. In addition to these, we've curated 20 returning anomalies to rejoin the pool. One anomaly not returning this time is Secrets of Norganon. Woohoo! Also known as the Tier 7 anomaly. The devs didn't say the woohoo, that was just me. We've chosen to hold it back until we have had a chance to adjust the Tier 7 minion pool. Hopefully forever in my mind, because I hate this anomaly, but this is just me. This is one of my least favorite ones. This patch introduces a significant rule change to anomaly appearance rates. After you play with an anomaly, it won't appear for at least 3 games. This should help you experience a wider variety of anomalies to keep each game feeling fresh. And this is fantastic. I love this. Side note, just want to say how much I enjoy that thought. Now, at the same time, it also makes it hard for you to get really good at anomalies because there's so many different ones. But at least if you don't like one, you don't have to play it again and again. And again, I've had days where Tier 7, I would play 6, 7 times out of 10 games, and that was painful. So please keep it this way. We don't expect to make further gameplay adjustments until sometime after Across the Timeways launches, but we'll keep an eye on the meta in the meantime. We hope you enjoy these updates, and we'll see you in the Tavern. And now for the Anomalies Return. Anomalies are back in the Battlegrounds. Anomalies are Tavern transforming effects that apply to all players from the start of each game. So real quick, if you have somehow missed anomalies, lucky you. Anomalies are a completely different way to play the game. Basically, you play the Battlegrounds like you normally would, but there's going to be a rule change at the beginning, and that is called the anomaly. Now, depending what that anomaly is, can affect dramatically how they affect the game. Now, let's look at the new ones for some examples. Summoning Pact. After you upgrade the Tavern, reduce the cost of your next buddy by 2. The idea here is, hey, those tier 5 and 6 buddies are very expensive, right? Well, now every time you upgrade, they're going to get cheaper by 2, making high tier buddies, which usually can take a while to unlock, faster to get, making them more impactful. Or conversely, making those really low tier buddies essentially free and easier access. So there's definitely a different angle you could take to playing the game with this anomaly. Do I want that tier 1 buddy that I can basically unlock immediately? Or do I want to go for that tier 6 for the big greed play? Have to see which one you want to try. Spirit of Friendship. After you press the buddy button, also discover a buddy. So you're going to hit that button, it's going to give you your buddy, and then you get to discover a buddy, which could in theory be the same buddy because they're not saying it can't be. So you could end up with a pair of a buddy. Yeah, there's a lot of buddies, but the possibility is very much there. Third Nature. You can press your buddy button a 3rd time for a golden buddy. It costs half. All right, so you're going to get your normal buddy use once. It's going to give you 1 copy of your buddy. You're going to hit your buddy button again, which is going to give you 2 more copies of your buddy. So then a triple. But then you can hit it a 3rd time, which will cost half, I'm assuming, of the 2nd cost. So say it costs 17, now it would cost 8 or 9, depending how they decide to round it. I'm going to assume up, who knows. But that being said, now you're going to get a gold buddy on that 3rd time. So wow, this is going to be really wacky depending on the buddies. If you have a buddy that's giving you Battlecry big value, now you're getting extra uses of that. If you've got a buddy that's an aura effect and that's something that can stack, now it's getting more ridiculous, but at the cost of you potentially having to have it on the board, which could be awkward because having 2 copies of a gold neutral sound really good till they don't potentially take advantage of that buff. They have to give a really big buff to make it worthwhile, but since they're gold, they will. So this will be very interesting. Colorful Camaraderie. Buddies have all minion types. Yep, you've got it. Your buddy is an all type. and that is going to be broken in some cases. I'm looking at you, AFK, and I'm terrified. Please let there be other changes that make this not as broken as this seems to be initially. I am absolutely terrified of this one with certain buddies. This will completely unbalance and turn the game into a disaster. Partner in crime, you have no buddy button. On turn 4, choose a quest to get your golden buddy. Now, depending what you have to do for those quests, getting your buddy golden can be wildly different because, hey, getting a tier 1 buddy gold is pretty good, but getting a tier 6 buddy gold obviously should be better, obviously depending on those buddies, because they're all over the place, and I'm sure there'll be other changes, but wow, this one's gonna be weird. Amicable amendment. The cost of your buddy is 50% higher, but reduces by 1 after you buy a card. Interesting. So if you're in a lobby with a lot of cheap things you can cycle, you definitely are gonna have some fun with this one. Depending on your hero power, this could be easier with some than others. This one's going to be weird. Definitely an interesting anomaly here. All right, now we've got the returning anomalies because maybe you don't remember some of these or they weren't in last time. A fair reward. Instead of a minion, triple rewards discover a tier 1 Dark Moon prize, improves in 4 turns. Now, depending if you know what Dark Moon prizes are, obviously the higher tier ones are better. So you're definitely better off waiting to get those triple rewards now, just not for the triple, which used to be a minion, but now for that Dark Moon prize. And they do really get good at tier 3 and 4. Obviously, the tier 2 Dark Moon prizes, there's only a couple really good ones, so you want to hold off as long as possible, but you could get lucky and get the one that reduces the tier by 5 cost, which is always good too. So the tier 2 ones have a couple things. The tier 1 ones you should pass on at all times. Audience choice. This is a fan favorite. At the start of each turn, one player chooses a card for all players to get at the end of the turn. Now, please make sure what you're giving, while it seems cute to you, it isn't the win condition for some hero powers. I know some people just never check this and go, ooh, Drakari! And then the Cthulhu player, who's usually a joke, is sitting there drooling in the corner thinking how much he's going to destroy the lobby. Just check and see and think real quick before you hit that button what you're giving everybody. Bring home the bacon. Start with 2 upgrading piggy banks. Break them open to gain gold. Cute. Bring in the buddies. Buddies are in the tavern. Yeah, we've already seen this one. No, thank you. Continuing education. At the start of each turn, get an evolving scroll. Each turn, it transforms into a tavern spell from a tier higher. How do you play this one? For me, I love waiting for the tier 5 and 6 spells, but there are times, say, if you get Strike Oil early, you definitely want those lower tier 1s. It's situational. I like to take the early damage to get the big hit spells. Some people like to play it different. How do you? Double header. The first time you buy a card, each turn, get an extra copy of it. And this is an exact copy. So if you're running a bunch of spellcraft, if you have a tavern spells suddenly that you've generated through some other means that will buff the minions in the shop, you will get 2 copies of the buffed version. Keep that in mind. And oh yeah, this does work on if somehow you have a golden card in the shop. So there are ways to make this, finagle it to happen. Definitely remember that. 11th hour. The first time your hero takes fatal damage in combat, prevent it. Gain 11 gold next turn. Yeah, this one's a weird, wacky one. People will be incredibly aggressive with it and have fun. I like this one. It's interesting. It's just sometimes it can be really frustrating. Golden arrow. Every 3 turns, get a golden arrow. 3 turns left. This is one of those ones with this targeted ability to make a minion gold is insane. And yeah, if you triple into a tier 5 and it's got trash, you're out of luck. When that other guy happens to be playing Bran, just makes his brand gold, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just kind of who finds the best card first, and they usually run away with the lobby. Golganath Tempest. Minions cost 2 gold. You cannot refresh the tavern. It refreshes after you buy a card. Is phenomenal fun. I love this one. Just, yeah, when you see a triple in the shop, you have 1 copy and there's 2 copies in the shop. Yeah, just remember, as soon as you buy that first one, it disappears because the shop refreshes. It happens to everybody a few times just because you forget and then you do it and you're like, oh crap. I love this one though all the same. Grapnel of the Titans. The first minion you buy each turn is free. Minion, remember that, not spell. Phenomenal one. Love this one. Mimiron's Clockwork Stadium. You cannot upgrade the tavern with gold. It upgrades itself every 2 turns. Is either stupid or fun. If you're playing a hero who can get you access to higher tier cards faster, Sometimes things like Patient Scout really excel in this lobby because you can get those cards faster. But depending what your buddy does now, because we have to take that into account, this is really going to be a weird one. Money match, start at 10 gold. Yep, you've heard it. Start yourself with 10 gold every turn. Yeah, you might as well just start tiering now. Go straight to at least 4, maybe 5. And remember, that buddy is also going to make this one infinitely more broken. Overseer's Orb. After you upgrade the Tavern, refresh it with a minion of your most common type. Oh, I'm sorry, is one tribe utterly broken in the current meta? Well, guess what? Buy that first turn and then get lucky. Oh, you can't find one? Oh, everybody else did? I'm so sorry, but that's the meta we live in. Path of the Treasure Seeker. After you refresh 5 times, find the golden monkey. I hate this one because every time I play this one, my gold is perfectly efficient. I'm not rolling, there's good minions in the shop, and then I'm fighting some schmuck who's just like, look, I found trash, so I rolled a bunch and now I have a triple. Yeah, remember rolling on the first turn and then second turn tiering and then third turn getting a triple is definitely a play to go for with this one. I don't like this anomaly. It punishes you for having good economy, it feels like. And also, if you can find free rolls, it's amazing. But, you know, I'm not a big fan. Perfected Alchemy, start with a Goldenizer. First person to find a really good card has a gold one. GG. Planar Alignment, at the start of each turn, get a random minion of your most common type. Unlocks on turn 2. Yep. Make sure, once again, if there's a broken tribe, you buy that on turn 1 if you can. That way you can continue to find all the toys you need. Scout's Honor, start with a golden patient scout in play. Yeah, Reno players, I'm looking at you. I hate you. Yep, you're gonna get 2 tier 6s and you're definitely gonna make 1 gold and you're gonna roll the lobby. Damn it. Also, Tess, you can be annoying in this one also. The Yogg-Seum, at the start of each turn, spin the same wheel of Yogg. So what this means is it spins the wheel and everyone gets the same result. Not just you getting the special good one while everyone else is screwed. Just remember, if you click on the screen, it cancels the animation. Don't watch that entire thing spin, especially in the later game, you will get punished. Treasure Hoard, on turn 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, discover a golden tier 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 minion. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 turns left. Basically, it's going to be one of these variations, and that's going to be the one you get. Everyone gets the same thing in the lobby, so just play accordingly. If you know you're getting a gold card, make sure you're high enough tier to get a better reward. Don't be sitting on tier 2 and get a golden tier 5. Because then when you play it, you get a regular tier 3. That's not going to be fun for you when everyone else is getting 5s and 6s. Uprising. After you upgrade a tavern, discover a tier 1 Dark Moon prize. Improves in 3 turns. This is one that wants you to tier a little unusually. I don't hate this one. It's fun. The Dark Moon prizes are kind of meh until you get to the tier 3 ones. So it depends how lucky you are. If you keep finding garbage, you decide to stay down, you'll get better prizes. But then you're also buying crappy minions, so take it with a grain of salt. Minion pool changes. We have some returning minions, and I think somebody has been into the good stuff because they are making very, very unusual choices. We're going to start with Hawkstrider Herald. Everyone's favorite I Break the Game is back. Beasts are sexy. Undead are unstoppable monsters, and everybody else is, you've got it, screwed. Hawkstrider Herald has never been anything near balanced, and guess what? It's back to be completely balanced, I'm sure this time, since there's no changes at all to it. Dilithian Burrower's also back, so yay, guess what? Did you find this annoying every time it's been super powerful? I mean, I only get this when it's way too late. Like, oh, turn 12, here it is. Oh my God, I'm not playing this. Well, my opponents are finding it on turn 8 and they're destroying me. The timing issue. I understand it's not a choice, it's just what Bob gives me. I hope you have better luck than I. Whelp Smuggler's back for the millionth time, and I don't think anyone cares, but the Whelp Smuggler's back to clog up your pool with minions you definitely don't want. And now for the minions that are out of here, and there's just one, and that's because that minion was stupid and never should have brought back. Looking at you, Hawkstrider Herald. Hey, Karmic Chameleon is gone again because it allowed you to copy your biggest minion by having a bunch of crappy minions die, and it allowed stupid things that shouldn't have been in the game, which we said the first time they initially put it in the game, and we've said every time they put it back in the game, and then they immediately have to keep removing it from the game because you've got it, it's stupid. I'm a little confused about this. Why do you keep bringing back minions that never work? And then when they're in the game, they don't work. And you're like, oh, why didn't it work? Please tell me your thoughts on this minion. Why is Karmic Chameleon either the most useless card because you don't understand how it works? No offense, you just don't get it, because if you did, you would use it. Or it's the most broken thing ever and people use it in every single game to copy their largest minion. I just don't understand why it keeps coming back. Please give me the logic behind the return of the obvious I don't work thing constantly and then going, whoops, and taking it out. Now we have a lot of minion and spell changes again. You know, all these things we just brought back, some of them don't work. So let's do it again. Grey Mage Champion used to be a 6/6 after you play an even tier card, give your minions +1/+1, is now going to be a 4/4 after you play an even tier card, give your minions +2/+2. And I will testify to this thing being kind of crap at a 1/1 buff. I have played it multiple times. I have tried, and it never really works great. It does work, but it's not great. And that being said, I'm happy it's getting a buff. Hey, Caligo's Arcane Aspect. You know, that card that's never been very good because it never quite gives enough of a buff? Used to be after you trigger a battle cry, give your dragons +1/+1. Now is after you trigger a battle cry, give your dragons +2/+2. Because it was so bad, they had to double the buff to make it hopefully relevant. Now it'll probably be too good and then we'll be left sitting here going, well, crap. Hot Air Surveyor goes from being a tier 4 3/7 to now being a tier 5 4/8, and it makes sense. He is either useless because you don't have blood gem generation, or you have it and he's utterly broken, allowing you to buff a minion forever. So I'm not really sure how you go about fixing this card. Maybe tier 5 will do it. Primeval Monstrosity getting hit with the nerf bat. Goes from being a 5/5 with stealth whenever a friendly rally minion attacks, give a friendly rally minion +3/+3 permanently, to now being 5/6 stealth whenever a friendly rally minion attacks, give a friendly minion of each type +3/+2 permanently. So it gained 1 health, but now it gives 1 less health across the board. I mean, if you want to nerf this card, just take stealth off it. We all know that immediately means it gets hit and the second taunts are out of the way. Just take away stealth. Don't worry, it won't be relevant anymore. Goldrin, the Great Wolf. I'm assuming that since Hawkstrider is here to terrorize us, they've decided that Goldrin is now going to be good, so he should be nerfed. Goes from being a 6/6 death rattle for the rest of this combat, your beasts have +6/+6, to now being a 5/5 death rattle for the rest of this combat. Your beasts have +5/+5. Because Hawkstrider breaks everything, you might as well drop this to a 2/2 buff because Goldrin's still gonna work when you stack it enough times. Chargla goes from being a 4/4 at the end of your turn, play 1 blood gem on all your other minions, to now being a 3/3 at the end of your turn, play 2 blood gems on all your other minions. So Chargla trying to be relevant again, doubling their gems. We'll see. Fearless Foodie goes from being a tier 5 3/5 back to being a tier 4 2/4, and I'm a little scared of Quillbore again. Fearless Foodie, I mean, Quillbore are already pretty good if you find scaling, but now that this is going back to tier 4, you've just found scaling because there's more of them and they're easier to find. So we'll see, but I'm definitely a little concerned about this. Aronymous the Wilted just gets a tiny change. Basically, all they do now is after a friendly minion is reborn, your undead have +3 attack this game wherever they are. They increase the attack buff yet again, trying desperately to make this minion relevant and not the saddest 666 you've ever had. I mean, it's not bad if you happen to say have 4 reborn minions on your board and triple into this. But the odds are then is you tripled one of those reborn minions and now you have less things to buff your attack with. I just feel like this should just be on a lower tier. Maybe make the buff +1 attack, put it on like tier 4, kick a Nubarak to the curb and just let that do its thing. Just make it a +1 attack and lower it. You don't have to keep giving it so much attack that if you get it early, it instantly destroys the lobby, because that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to hit a tipping point where it goes from being too small a buff to being an insane buff. And it could just be a minimal buff at a lower tier, but instead we're doing this. Ultraviolet Ascendant getting a small change. Used to be a 6/3, start of combat, give your other elementals +2/+1, upgrades after you play an elemental. Now is a 5/2, start of combat, give your elementals a 2/2 buff, upgrades after you play an elemental. This is basically, it has less in stats and it gives 1 more health. Hopefully this is relevant. This card is very hard to pull off. Yeah, if you're cycling a lot, it's great. If you go to Brand and you find a million Tavern Tempests, but typically, unless there's a lot of shenanigans, this card just feels a little slow right now. Maybe this makes a difference. Sky Admiral Rogers got hit with a little nerf. Used to be a 4-5 after you spend 9 gold, get a random bounty. Now is going to be a 4-6 after you spend 10 gold, get a random bounty. So you gain 1 more health, who cares? And it costs 1 more gold to get a spell. That is a big difference, but it's one of those things. This is how they nerf pirates. They just tweak it a little bit. And I don't even feel like this is a big problem for pirates. I feel like this minion is a big problem for playing spell heavy builds in general because of what Sky Admiral Rogers does. So I don't think this will hurt them too much, but it's just a tiny nerf to bring them in line. Master of Realities. This used to be a 6-6 taunt after a friendly elemental gains stats, gain +1/+1. Is now a 5-5 taunt after a friendly elemental gains stats, gain +2/+2. They're just trying to make this thing relevant. This used to be an absolute terror of the lobbies, but it used to be an end of turn effect where it would say, oh, okay, well, for every elemental that gains stats, I'm going to gain 1/1, 2/2, whatever it was, at the end of my turn for each time that happened. So people would take a Drakari and then double that or triple that, and it was insane. But now that it just happens whenever they gain stats, it's not nearly as bad. So the extra stats hopefully will bring this better into line with where the state of the game is now. Tavern spell change. Sanctify. This poor thing gets changed all the time. Old, give your minions with Divine Shield +7 attack, to now just new, give your minions with Divine Shield +6 attack. I don't get it. Why they keep flip-flopping it. I understand the real reason for this change isn't because the spell is too good itself. It's because the minions that generate it generate too many, and then when coupled with the fact that they can generate so many, the attack buff is too much. It's not really a nerf in the spell as much as the minions it's associated with. Buddy changes. We have a lot of them. So just sit back. Maybe go get yourself a drink. Get a nice comfy chair, sit down, lean back, close your eyes, and I will read you the just stack of buddy changes that's gonna hurt. Let's go. First, AFK Snack Vendor. Old, tier 3, 4/4, at the end of your turn, give this minion stats to a different tier 3 minion. Now, tier 5, 6/6, at the end of your turn, give this minion stats to a tier 3 minion. This nerf is a big one, but at the same time, isn't gonna matter that much. Now, how do those both exist at the same time? Well, first, 2 tiers later means it's going to take you a lot longer to get this. And more importantly, the gold version, right? The gold version taking a while is important. But the problem is, the initial thing won't hurt you too badly because you're mostly buffing your spells in the early game trying to get this thing buffed. It is gonna take you longer to get it, so you'll have less tempo, because you won't have it initially on your board as early, thus it'll be harder for you to win those early fights. But if you find ways to buff this still, it's still going to be insane. You just have to be more patient now. You can't be as aggressive. But once you've got some Tavern spell buffing going on, or heaven forbid Naga are in the lobby, because good lord, Deep Blue and this thing are insane, it really still does steamroll pretty bad. And I don't think the problem with this is the tier it's at, because you can make this tier 6, it's still a problem. It's the fact that it's an end of turn. You can use it with Drakari and Naga buffs, and you can just buff it to the damn moon. That's the real issue with this minion, and I'm not sure you can fix this by changing its tier. It's just the fundamental effect that is the problem. Jim Raynor's buddy Tychus Findlay went from being a tier 5, 5/6 after you cast a Tavern spell, get a random battlecruiser upgrade, to being a tier 4, 4/6 after you cast 2 Tavern spells, get a random battlecruiser upgrade. And I haven't even got offered Raynor once. I don't even know what this is like. So it's because it only can happen twice a turn, you can't produce a ridiculous number of upgrades, which is good. Making it low tier makes that all work. We'll see how it plays out, but once again, I haven't got to play it, so who knows? I haven't seen any Raynors win any lobbies I'm in also, so that could be telling. Zyrella's buddy, Baby Elec, used to be tier 3 whenever you play a minion with less attack than this, give it +2/+2 and improve this, to now being tier 4 whenever you play a minion with less attack than this, give it +1/+1, improve this. This is a big nerf. It's higher tier. It's giving less stats. I haven't got to play this one once again because Zyrella hasn't been offered to me. There's just so many heroes and it's just hard to get them, I guess. I have definitely seen some big boards because of this thing, so yeah, I'm happy to see it gone. Dancing Daryl, the Asher Haberdasher. It used to be after you sell a minion, gain +1/+1 hat. that passes to a friendly minion when sold, to now being after you sell a minion, gain 2 1/1 hats that passes to a friendly minion when sold, is pretty telling with how bad Daryl's doing. They doubled that damn buff, and that's pretty significant. I haven't played Daryl, nor have I wanted to in this meta. Maybe now I want to try it. Kerrigan, Broken Horn. Ooh, let's see where this goes. Old, tier 5 Battlecry, discover a Zerg minion and set its stats to 6/6. It doesn't morph. To now being tier 4, when you sell this, discover a Zerg minion and set its stats to 6/6. It doesn't morph. Hey, a buddy with a Battlecry being a problem? Huh, I've never thought of that before. I wonder if other buddies with Battlecries in the past, say since the inception of the buddy system, have been a problem. Oh, that's right, they always are. And Rylak being in the pool and Reborn kicking out a horde of them has never been an issue. Oh, it always has been too. I wonder why we keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It's kind of like we don't learn a lesson. Huh, weird. Well, at least we fixed this problem. I wonder if there are any more we could look at. Graybow Wandering Treant used to be a tier 7 whenever a friendly minion is attacked. Give your minions +1 attack permanently. Now is a 3/9 whenever a friendly taunt minion is attacked. Give your minions +1/+1 permanently. I mean, you get it early, it'd be great, but it's tier 5, so you're not getting it early. I mean, obviously, if you put together a board of all taunts, there's still some buffing going on. But at that stage in the game, are the 1/1 permanent buffs going to matter that much? I am sure 100% there are going to be some great weird ass mech builds with Graybow that just sit this in back and buff everything to the moon. But typically I don't feel like this is going to work great just because of when you're getting this tempo. It's kind of on the latish side because it's tier 5. Maybe put this at tier 4 and 3, but then it's probably too strong. We'll see. It's a big buff either way, from attack to health and attack. Lo, the living legend Stoneshell Guardian used to be a 3/7. Start a combat, copy your 2 leftmost rallies, except Stoneshell Guardian is now going to be a 4/7. Start of combat, copy all friendly rallies except Stoneshell Guardian. Tells you how lackluster this thing actually was being. It went from just copying 2, which is usually where they put the nerf to big minions. They're like, well, instead of doing all, it's only gonna do 2. Now they're like, instead of doing 2, let's just do everything, because rally needs to swing to be even remotely useful. And yeah, you'll have one guy now who can swing and copy all your rallies, but I'm just not that impressed with rally as a mechanic. Yeah, there are some really good builds that are really effective, but I absolutely despise every single fight. It's a coin flip if I get the most value out of my board. My opponent goes first, I'm never gonna get as much value that I could get if I went first. So I'm not a huge fan of the mechanic, but you know, when you go first, it feels really good. Rakara's buddy, Ice Snarl the Mighty, goes from being a 5/2 after a friendly minion kills an enemy, gain +1 health permanently, to now being a 6/2 after a friendly minion kills an enemy minion, gain +2 health permanently. Wow, they gave it 1 more attack and doubled its health, and I still don't want to play it. But in the early game, it's good. I mean, it's good until like turn 9 and 10, and then this thing is complete trash. But that's true of a lot of buddies. It just means it's a buddy you don't typically, and hero for that matter, you want to play. Silas's buddy Birth went from being a 5/6 after you discover a minion, give it +4/+4 and upgrade this +1/+1, to now being a 6/7 after you discover a minion, give it +2/+2 and improve this. Ugh, talk about your nerf, right? Doesn't feel great. The buddy takes a little while to get going. I mean, obviously, if you hit a lot of tickets, this is an amazing buddy. But if you don't hit a ton of tickets, if they're all on trash minions or expensive spells, it's useless. I've had very mixed results with Birth in this meta. I played it a couple games, none of them went great. So maybe it's just too small a sample size, but it wasn't good for me. This is a big nerf though, so it was working for somebody. Sky Captain Crag's buddy, Sharkbait, used to be tier 5 4/2 Battlecry, refresh your hero power. Now is tier 4 4/3 when you sell this refresh your hero power. Why are battle cries a problem with refreshing all your hero power? Your hero power just gives you all your gold back. There's no way to trigger battle cries at other points in the game. Oh, Rylak. Oh yeah, that's right. This thing has still existed forever and you still keep putting battle cries on buddies. Oh yeah. Maybe the design team needs someone whose job isn't to come up with new things, or even test things. It's just to point out to them lessons they've already should have learned. Yasarj, baby Yasarj, old tier 3, after you play a minion of your tier, give your minions +1/+1, to now being tier 4, after you summon a minion of your tier, give your minions +1/+1. So, honestly, I haven't got to play a single game as Yasarj. Either there was a better hero that instantly I wanted to play over them, or they haven't been offered to me very much, and I think both are true. So I don't really know the change that much. Obviously, the summoning means you can buff in combat, but I never felt this was super powerful, but apparently someone was proving me wrong because they nerfed it a bit, or at least it appears to be a nerf, because summons are just temporary combat buffs that I don't really care about that much for a 1/1, so. Enhanso Mechano, buddy, Enhanso Medico used to be tier 2 2/2 after you buy a minion, gain +2/+2 for each bonus keyword it has. Now is tier 1 3/3 after you buy a minion, gain +3/+3 for each bonus keyword it has. Speaks to how bad this thing has been. Like, no one wants to play it. It is good tempo in the early game if you get the right shops, but it quickly falls off after that. So I'm guessing that's why, but this thing just means you can triple it really fast because it's tier 1 and get access to tier 5 or 6 cards. And with the tempo this gives you early especially, I think this will be just fine. I just haven't played Enhanso myself, but if you get the right shop, it sure is good. Any Storm Coils buddy sub Scrubber used to be tier 5 after you play a mech, gain +2/+2, to now being tier 4 after you play a mech, gain +3/+3. I mean, still should work in a mech board. One of the issues I feel like is it's just boards are so clogged with minions, especially in the buddy meta. Now we have anomalies to affect all of this stuff even more. It's hard to make room for permanent minions. So the buff going up makes it a little easier to consider keeping it. Obviously it's a mech, so we can magnetize to it. So maybe this will get us some extra value, but for me, I haven't played any yet this season, which is weird because any has always been one of my guilty just pleasure heroes. I know they're not good. I just like to keep playing them. Edwin Van Cleef's buddy SI7 Scout used to be tier 1 after you buy a card, gain +1/+1. He's now tier 2 after you buy a card, gain +2/+2. I don't like this buddy, even when I get it stupid early, when buddies are in the shop, and I get to cycle a bunch of cards. It's never big enough to really justify being on the board. Maybe by moving it to tier 2, but doubling the buff, it will be better now. We'll see. Kurtrus Ashfallen's buddy, Living Nightmare, old tier 3 6/4 after you buy a card. Minions in the tavern have +2/+1 this turn. Now is going to be tier 2 4/4 after you buy a card. Minions in the tavern have +2/+2 this turn. I mean, they increased the buff. They made it so you can get him earlier. He has a little less stats. That's not really a big deal. This one is kind of like, do you get to get a lot of cheap cards? Like, is there just a lot of economy in the shop so then you can buy them, cycle them, and then buy the minion you really want when it's been buffed up? Or you're going to eat that shop? So obviously making it so you can get this earlier means you'll have a little more survivability from the shop because you're going to buff up those minions before you buy them. Depends on how lucky you are with your shop. This will hopefully make them a little more viable. The following is a list of buddies that have had their tier and stats changed only. But here is part of the issue. They're not telling me the stat changes. They're only telling me the tier changes. So I can't even give you all the information for them. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of flashing up a bunch of images of what they have been, I'm just going to put the list up here. There's going to be a link to these patch notes in the description of the video, so you can go right to that and look at that. But it's still not going to show the stats. So the tiers matter, obviously, because you get buddies earlier or later because of those tiers, but at the same time, without the stats, like if a buddy goes from tier 4 to tier 1, there's going to be a stat change on it pretty dramatically. And I want to see what that is. But since they didn't give us that, I'm just going to give you the list, because this will literally save me an hour and a half of editing as I load up all the animations and then say and have to go back and forth for each one of these. And without the relevant stat changes, I don't feel like the tier by itself is that useful information, because most people aren't really going to care till they get in the game. Anyways, if you'd wished I'd put the images up here with these, please let me know, but this is like the armor changes to me. I think most people don't care if you're not going to also give us the stats, which would be very useful. We have some gameplay updates now. Helpful refreshes from cards like Wondrous Wisdom Ball and Chromie can no longer offer the tier 7 before turn 7 Now, this is a major change because this Chromie drives me nuts. I will watch everyone play Chromie. They will have nothing but the greatest rolls ever. It will be like shot full of tier 7s. Go. Pick your poison. How do you want to win the lobby? I will play Chromie, and Chromie will just keep offering me more Chromies. I could have a board full of golden Chromies, and the only thing it's going to offer me are more Chromies. I rage quit so hard after playing a game of Chromie because I'd won every single fight, and the only thing it offered me every time I refreshed was either all tier 1 Naga, I kid you not, it happened 3 times in a game, or more Chromies. I was losing my mind. It was so unhelpful, it made me quit and made me not play for a couple days. These helpful rerolls drive me nuts. Dev comment, the following changes were made to prevent unintended interactions that can cause infinite stat gain loops. Sinestra is no longer triggered from Wrathskill Rogue. Whelp Smuggler is no longer triggered by Wrathskill Robe. Also, Titanic Guardian is no longer triggered by Master of Realities. Oh my, yeah, please don't. Yeah, what? Obviously, like interactions no one thought, no one checked, and they just happened, and they're like, oh, they get infinitely big. Whoopsie. Now we have a small list of armor changes. Once again, I'm not going to go over these. They're on the screen right here. There's a link in the description to the patch notes if you really need to look at these, but they're just some minor nudges as they always do. Hero change time. Now, when you make this many hero changes, of course, something's going to slip through, but some of them are obnoxiously clear that no one bothered to check them. Case in point, Yogg Saron's Hope's End. Old Puzzle Box passive at the start of your turn, cast a random Tavern spell. New Puzzle Box passive at the start of your turn, cast a random Tavern spell, unlocks on turn 3. Yeah, this should be. Do you know how many times I've gone on turn 2 to tier 2, looked at the Yogg Saron player and be like, oh, here we go. And then he's on turn 2, tier 2 with 3 minions, and I'm sitting there like ready to just throw a chair. I'm like, do you ever test these things? Do you just play one game and go, that was fun? And that person, maybe they got a gold coin from their spells, maybe they got a taunt cast, nothing big, right? Then everybody else is just getting free minions and laughing and running naked through the lobby, lighting stuff on fire. It's not fun. And I know it's early, and it can also troll you because it can be taunt something you don't want taunted. It could remove taunt from your stuff. It can change the stats on minions. It's Yogg, I get it. But it was so consistent on turn 1 and 2 that it's clear to me that if you did test it, you didn't test it enough because it was pretty obvious pretty fast for me this wasn't working. Lord Jaraxxus got a massive nerf, and the change was after friendly minion deals 100 damage to now being 150 damage to open a portal to the Twisting Nether. Now, I've only played Jaraxxus once, and I unlocked it on turn 7, and it felt fine. I didn't destroy the lobby. I didn't do poorly either. And I've played games where people have unlocked it. Usually it feels like right about turn 7, I run into the Jaraxxus player. Maybe 8, he's doing it. Are we now waiting till turn 9 and 10? Because that feels too late. It's just me. Does that feel too late? I don't know. Maybe at low MMR, like really low MMR, people were abusing the hell out of it. But where I was, I just wasn't seeing it that consistently or seeing it do insane things. But with anomalies coming, that also could change things pretty dramatically considering some of the anomalies. So we'll see. Carry the Roam got a buff again, because once again, no one ever wants to play Carry the Roam. Their hero power used to cost 2, now it costs 1. Maybe, just maybe, I'll think about playing it. Of course, then I'll immediately hit the reroll button and go on to the next hero, because if this is the best trash offered to me, I'll move on, thank you. Sneed got a little bit of a buff, and that buff is, you know how that minion, the 2/1 he has, that summons a minion from your hand with the highest health? Well, now it'll have Divine Shield also. And if it's gold, your buddy, it's gonna summon out 2 minions from your hand, and they're both gonna have Divine Shield for this combat. So yeah, there's no minions, Murlocs, that would be bad to have Divine Shield that could get summoned out of your hand with Venom, and it would definitely be fine, right? There's gonna be no combinations that make you want to bang your head on the desk Murlocs again in frustration when they start killing your whole board, right, Murlocs? We'll see. I mean, maybe there's going to be lots of crazy combinations that people feel, but I feel like Murlocs, there's going to be something we figure out that nobody's thought of, that giving Divine Shield Murlocs in Venom that's going to come out and be a problem. Tamsin Rome got changed again. Fragrant Phylactery. Tamsin Rome, guess what? Again. First, used to be Fragrant Phylactery, start of combat, give your lowest attack minion Death Rattle, give your other minions this minion's attack. Is now going to be Fragrant Phylactery, passive, start of combat, give your lowest attack minion Death Rattle, give your other minion this minion's stats. Now that is a big difference, because if your lowest statted minion is massive and it dies and then it gives the stats to your other minions, that can be significant. Okay, yeah, he's my lowest attack minion. How much attack does he have? Oh, 400. And his health? Oh, it's 500. So your whole board gets 400, 500? Yeah. And you have a Titus? Uh-huh. Okay, I'll just show myself to the door. Thorum got a bit of a buff, and his hero power has just been changed to now where you need to spend 60 gold to get your tier 7 instead of 65, and that is massive. Because that, instead of finishing it on turn 8 and 9, maybe turn 7, turn 8, basically all the time, you're going to be getting this. This is just my memory, because I actually haven't played Thorum in like a hot 2 weeks, but I feel like 8 and 9 is where you usually get it, depending how your economy's gone. But now, turn 7 and 8 definitely feels like this could be a thing. That 5 gold reduction is pretty good, because you were always, within that window, you were close. You can never quite get there to get it early. This will make Thorum a little better, depending what tier 7s you're offered. I mean, we can't control that. If you're offered the worst tier 7s, bad luck is bad luck. Overlord Sourfang got a big buff. Used to be you had to buy 5 minions to buff the Tavern 1/1. Now it's 4. And this is what I said when the initial announcement of this hero power change happened. I'm like, oh, 5 feels like a placeholder. Well, we tested out. And sure enough, 5 was not enough to be good. There are weird niche builds, yes, demons, mechs, where you could get enough buying going on where it could be good, but that was still really hard to pull off. And now I feel like with this change could be much more viable. That 4 minions is a big difference from 5, so we'll see, but I'm hopeful. Finally, one last thing to bring up. Tune in to the Battlegrounds behind the scenes. Join Battlegrounds designer Mitchell Lowen for a special episode of the Blizzard podcast as he dives into the return of Anomalies in the future of buddies in the Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Tune in October 13th at 7:30 p.m. PDT. In timeout, why have I never heard of the Blizzard podcast? Is this new? Am I clueless? I'm supposed to know about this stuff, and I got to admit, this is the first moment I ever read about it. Well, actually, it was a few moments before, because I pre-read it before I say it, but this is the first moment I've consciously become aware of this being a thing. And I don't actually have this link because this is a PDF I'm looking at. I don't actually have an interactive site, so I have no real idea what that is, but I'm going to look into it after this. We'll see. That's it. That's all the changes. What do you think? Are you excited about what's happening? Do you like Anomalies being back? Do you like the changes to the buddies, to the hero powers, to the minions? Is the game in a really good place right now for you? Or are you miserable and you're like, I've taken a break? Personally, while I'm excited about these changes, I have, for the most part, stopped playing Hearthstone. I'm waiting for the buddy meta to end. I don't like buddies. I don't like Anomalies. Put them together, ooh, 2 things I don't like in my game. I don't want to play this game right now. That's just me. I'm still excited about the changes. I still want to read about them. I still want to play, just not as much. There's so many fun games out there to play, and while the game's in a space that I don't like, I don't want to play it. I do want to talk about it. I still want to think about it. I just don't want to be forced to play it because it's torture for me. What do you think? Are you enjoying the game right now? Is it fun for you? And do you want it to keep going like this? I'm going to keep reporting about it because I do enjoy making these videos. I just don't want to play the game. That's all. Thanks for watching all. I hope you had a good time. Hey, please like, subscribe, comment. Obviously, I want the likes and subscribes because I want to grow the channel. But at the same time, I just like to hear your comments. I like to know what you actually think about this stuff because I enjoy the conversation more than the game right now. I want to talk about the game. I want to hear your thoughts and why things work or don't work. I just don't want to play it. That's all. That's where I draw the line. Thanks for watching all. I'll catch you in the Battlegrounds. Well, maybe. Until next time, have a good one. Later.